Hello, everybody, and welcome back down the rabbit hole with Alice Hatter. My name is Alice Hatter, and I was born and raised in New Orleans. This episode is titled, I Cheated on My Boyfriend. When I was a senior in high school, I got my first serious boyfriend. Y'all know I moved to Colorado to go to the University of Northern Colorado. It didn't work out, but for that period, we were long distance. By Christmas, I was back home where I'm supposed to be in New Orleans. So, all of my friends were back from college. It was great. We were all back to celebrate the holidays with our families before and during the spring semester. One night, a few of my friends wanted to meet downtown like we normally would on the weekends. We would start at one bar on Frenchman and end up at Crystal on Bourbon. Who knows? We would walk miles of these nights. I mean, miles around the French Quarter. It was so much fun. Nights downtown were always a blur. Growing up, I had two friends. These girls were surprisingly similar. They had a lot of things in common. Not their hair color, but like their height, weight, things like that. And they were really close. I mean, really close. These two had a connection that nobody else in the friend group did. When there was an event downtown, you could bet they would be hanging on each other, clutching a cheap fifth of vodka, making out, They would take breaks to sit down, sip the vodka, continue making out, or just pass the bottle back and forth. I mean, they would share entire bottles of booze in one night. I'm not sure how anybody can drink that much, but maybe they were trying to get so messed up that they would forget that they were full on hooking up the night before in front of a bunch of people. I don't know. It was a sight to see. I've got a lot of memories burned in my mind of those two just making out with each other and swigging cheap vodka. That's literally so many moments. But yeah. And the guys at school knew. It's if you get those two girls drunk enough in the same place, you could easily have a threesome on your hands. I walked into them having a threesome in my attic room with one of the guys in the grade below us. They were just young, drunk, sloppy, probably slightly malnourished and hungry, I don't know, looking to find the love of their life or whatever Disney told us we're supposed to do with our vaginas. It wouldn't surprise me if they completely lost the inability to be a decent human being after drinking. It's they would turn into different people. It's weird. The more I drank, the more I realized how numbing drinking can really make you. When I have a hangover, I care about no one but myself, okay? So, I don't know, they'd start drinking and turn into, the disco balls. I don't know. The life of the party. They were both pretty obsessed with each other and themselves. But I was pretty obsessed with myself. I'm still pretty obsessed with myself. I mean, if you're not going to be obsessed with yourself, nobody else is going to be obsessed with you, so you better love yourself. But yeah, I'm going to give both of these girls one name. We'll refer to them as one. Their name is the Disco Balls. Because they were truly the life of the party, you guys. I mean, if the disco balls weren't there, it wasn't poppin'. Now, like I was saying, I'd seen the disco balls make out at a million parties and a million different shows. So let's be honest, okay? It's 2023. Let's be honest now. I was curious. I mean, watching it happen so many times, they kept repeatedly hooking up, getting wasted, hooking up, getting wasted. It was like on repeat. I was curious. I'm like, why do they keep doing this? So I was like, maybe I'm missing out on something, you know? But back to me cheating on my boyfriend. I bet you guys forgot I had a boyfriend. I also forgot I had a boyfriend. Yeah. Enough about the disco balls for the moment. So me and my friends were all back in town for break. We decided to meet downtown for a night. We were drinking and bar hopping at our last bar, our very last bar. I was so wasted at this point. I mean, it was late. I mean, early in the morning. You know what I mean? Man, you know, I was wasted. And there was only one disco ball out that night. My wasted, curious, why are my friends doing this? Self. I approached the lonely disco ball. I just walked up to her and I started making out with her. The disco ball made out with me, and then she was like, Alice, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. And we just kept making out. Eventually, we went back to her house and passed out. In the morning, the urge to vomit is what woke me up. I felt terrible. Like, when I say terrible, I felt like so ill. And even after all the hooking up and the extra drinking of vodka, I still couldn't understand why they would make out so much. I still couldn't figure it out. I was like, I feel like shit, and that was not even that fun. But yeah, I ran to the disco ball's closest bathroom to expel my bi-curiosity along with the leftover vodka my body was unable to process from the night before. My head was pounding. I knew I needed to get home. I didn't feel like explaining myself to a disco ball. I had to get out of there before the disco ball woke up. After purging, I grabbed my things and quietly left. I got in my car to drive home. As I started my car, reality hit me. I remembered I had a boyfriend. Shh, dang it. I totally forgot I had a boyfriend. Oh man, I had to tell my boyfriend. I was on the interstate. I was so close to home. How did I forget I had a boyfriend? I'm telling you guys, alcohol really will make you forget shit. Like, I just didn't even think about him. It made me so selfish. I was like, I'm gonna go kiss a disco ball. Boyfriend who? I don't know. I'm not a big drinker. And that's just like not who I am on the inside, you know? But I mean, I did tell my boyfriend. I was really close to home. I was almost there, but the thought of confessing what I had done to my boyfriend from the night before really made me sick. And like, I mean literally sick, you guys. I had to pull over and vomit before I made it home. Luckily, I was in the neighborhood by the time my body had to yak again. Once I was done being sick, I tried my hardest to pull myself together. I was like, girl, just call him. Better now than when you're home and risk family overhearing you kissed a disco ball. It's the last thing they need to know right now. I have a hangover. I feel like, I need water. I opened my purse and dug around for my phone. I called him. It was ringing. My head was pounding. I needed water. He answered. He was like, hey, what's up? Are you okay? How was last night? I was like, hey, it was fun. I'm like really hungover right now. Like, I had to pull over to throw up. I didn't make it home yet. He was like concerned. He was really sweet. He was like, do you need me to come get you? I was like, no, I'm close to home. He was like, are you sure? You do not sound okay. You okay? I was like, well, I have something to tell you. And he was like, what? And I was like, I made out with the disco ball last night. I made out with the disco ball like a lot. And he was like, "You cheated on me? You cheated on me last night?" Ooh. Right then, in that moment, I was like, wow, Alice, you just cheated on your boyfriend with a disco ball. Now, I really did not think of it as cheating when it happened. It's not like I was after a serious long-term relationship with a disco ball. He knew I was being honest about that. But technically, yeah, I cheated on my boyfriend with her once. I was like, yuck. I felt yucky, and he asked me how it was, and then I was like, ew, you're yucky. You're such a boy. But I told him it was okay, nothing life-changing. To this day, I'm not sure how the disco balls were able to chug so much cheap vodka, but they deserve a medal or a trophy for that. I was never physically able to drink as much as either one of them. But yeah, you guys, that's the only time I ever cheated on a boyfriend or ever cheated on anyone at all, ever. And my boyfriend at the time forgave me, but he did say if I ever made out with another girl, I had to let him watch. Well, I guess thankfully for me, after that hangover and the conversation with my boyfriend and the vomiting and the headache, I had zero desire to make out with any disco ball ever again. I was really thankful he was quick to forgive me for that one. I honestly drank way, way, way more than I should have that night. But I learned a lot about myself. I realized just because two people that you hang out with are doing something, it doesn't mean you're going to enjoy doing the same things that they're doing. And it's totally okay to be different. I came to the sound conclusion after that experience and having a boyfriend that they just very much had a thing for one another. If someone spends that much time making out with another person, they have some kind of feelings for one another. But that was high school and everybody was like experimenting or whatever. I think one of them married some John and the other's out living her best life. So until next time, everybody, don't cheat on your boyfriend. Have a great week.